So, hello. Good evening. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. Today, I'm here with my friend, my brother, Mr. David Egyir.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's how you pronounce yours, or you say Egyir. Which one do you say?
It's Egyir.
Okay, so Egyir or Egyir.
Egyir.
Egyir, okay, because the way you have spelled it is more technical. So, as usual, I am of the opinion that the more we get information, the more we hear, the better we have the option to at least make decision or not make decision. And growing up in our country, Ghana, school, job, everything in between, church, politics, funeral, all of it. Then you go to school. So, David, you would want to introduce yourself, and then we want to talk about your life, school, business, career, Ghana, your passion, everything that is in your heart. Share with that.
Right. Thank you, my brother Kwabena, for this opportunity. So my name has already been mentioned as David K. Egyir. I describe myself in three ways. I'm an architect, a designer, and a life coach.
Okay.
My journey through life. So I was actually born in the Eastern region, Akintapo, but I saw light, or let's say I came to awareness in the Brahabo region, Wenchi. Left there at age 5 to back to Eastern region, this time at the city where I enrolled in the primary school, went through the Center for Common Entrance, entered secondary school at St. Peter's. University. Did that and A levels. I was a science student with math option in the A levels. So I then entered University of Science and Technology, now KNU, Kwame University of Science and Technology, where I pursued first a BSc in design and then postgraduate diploma in architecture. Completed, then entered the real world.
Okay, so David, somebody saying you may up your voice a bit. Okay, so you entered the real world.
Yes, so I entered the real world, and it's been another university of hard knocks and sweat.
Okay. So before you go back to school days and things that you learned, we want to know about professionally what you do and how you do what you do now.
Okay, so I practice architecture. I design buildings, supervise in the construction of the building. I also teach, and that's where the life coaching comes in. I teach life. I teach people to appreciate life and its more comprehensive way, and to live a more fulfilling life than otherwise. And that has a history to it.
Okay.
Share. Tech, University of Science and Technology, we worked hard, came out and thinking that after 6 years, you know a lot, So I joined at a location in Sakmono, Accra, let's say Tema. Sakmono is Tema than Accra. And then along the line, I was elected to lead the youth fellowship. Now, back in school, I was in leadership positions almost throughout all the years. I was one leader or the other. And on the average, I would say I did very well. Not knowing, I knew very little when I stayed there. Now, this is what when I joined when I was elected to lead the fellowship, the fellowship was made up of, let's say, very educated people. Some
fellowship as in Christianity.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, it's a youth fellowship in a Christian church organization. Mm-hmm. Yes, and it was highly heterogeneous. We had people who had masters and all that. At the same time, we had house help, some who had not even gone to school beyond a certain level and could not articulate themselves in English and all. So for the first time, I realized that I needed to learn what leadership really is about. Otherwise, I was going to have a hard time leading such a group. So for the first time, I went out looking for a book on leadership.
Okay.
Actually, I got some good books on leadership, but while looking for leadership books, other books also caught my attention. General self-help books. So I picked them as well. Now, when I started reading those books, man, it was a whole new level of education. It was as though all the systems I spent at the university, I learned nothing for life, really.
Okay.
Those were very practical ways of living, and they were all in these books, and nobody had drawn our attention to them while in school. So it awakened something in me to search for more, and then eventually begin to teach others who myself would benefit from it. So in the process, I bought all manner of self-help books, read all manner of self-help books like crazy, and then began to compile some of the findings into volumes that I could also share with other people. So besides designing buildings and building, I also make the effort to teach these principles to those who want it, especially the youth who have not had entrenched positions as far as life and living is concerned. So in a nutshell, these are what I do.
Okay. Okay, you have a family too. You have a wife, you have children.
Yes. This year will be 19 years in marriage.
Wow.
I have 2 girls, 17
wow.
years and 15 years, going
wow.
on 18 and
so what year were you on Tech Campus?
I entered Tech in 1992, and officially exited in 2000.
Okay. So you were out 2000.
Yes, that's a 2000 academic year.
Wow. Which hall were you?
Unity, country.
Yes. Because I was in Block A as well. That's where I was all the 4 years.
You don't mean it. I was in for the BSc. I was in 40 actually, and then the post I went to Block B, 406.
Wow, I was in 44. I was in 166. 44. I was there for 3 years or so.
Oh, okay, interesting. I never knew you were consistent.
With the calabash.
Oh.
I'm sure if you knew Percy Percy something. He was doing electrical engineering. I think it was a executive or somewhere.
Yeah,
I was in his room.
Percy, the name rings a bell. I can't immediately put face to it. That name certainly rings a bell.
Wow. Okay, so we backtrack. If you look, for me, if you pick a typical Ghanaian student now who has gone through school and has some level of certificate and you complete, these are the options that I see. Usually, you see that right after school, we are thinking of second degree. And then we will be looking at traveling outside the country. That is, if you don't have anybody to help you, if you don't have any parents with big government position, a few of us would want to go through, the craziness, and sometimes what we see, we call the hopelessness. And these are rare issues, and I think it's not so much the situation outside; it's so much of what we don't know, because we believe so much in the school. And just as you said, you started to find in books, and you felt that all the years that you had been going to school, these things were not part of the education. And this is the situation. If you go to any of our schools, these things are rare. And I believe our schools have been designed not so much for us to do anything for ourselves.
No.
So send us through. Why did you choose science? Your parents' contribution. And did you decide to stay here?
Say that again.
Why did you? The courses that you chose in the secondary school. Why you chose the things that you did in the university, and why after school you decided to be here? Because I know most of our mates would, first of all, want to travel somewhere, especially with higher education.
Okay, it looks like you were breaking. So I'll try and recap what I heard. The basis for the selection of courses. Is that the case?
Yes. Why did you choose the course that you chose? Who chose it for you, and why?
Oh, you want to bring my time this evening there. Architecture was suggested to me by one of my teachers, our physics teacher. He had stayed in Nigeria for a while, and apparently noticed that a lot of Nigerian architects made a lot of money. And I was a very good student. My dad is actually an art master.
Okay.
Yeah, he did art at Tech and actually won a Mobile Award as best student in his year. So I was exposed to art very early. So I'm very good at art. When he realized, I said, then I think you should do architecture. You make a lot of money. So that was it.
Because of the money.
And
that's right.
So that was it.
That was a good decision, actually.
Yes, I would say so. Even though if I knew what I know now, I would have done things differently. I would have still chosen the architecture, but I've used a different approach altogether. And
what would be that approach?
Let me tell you a story. I belong to a family of artists. All my sisters sew. I sew. I've actually sewn for export to Canada before. Now, before
as in tailoring.
Like sewing with a machine, making garments. I can sew all manner of things. Suits, I can sew trousers, shirts, what have you. I sew.
Where did you learn them?
In the house. My sister, my sisters sew. They actually pursued it as a course. One did it up to two of my sisters did fashion at Polytechnic. And I also picked a book on sewing titled Complete Guide to Sewing, a very fat book. It teaches you everything about sewing. So in addition to learning from my sisters, I also took the trouble of reading the complete guide to sewing to help me sew professionally. So I do so, and when I sew, you will love it. And before
Wow.
I got this contract to sew and package a few cases for export to Canada.
Okay.
I did it for a period, and when school was about starting, I gave up the whole idea. I let that whole idea go. I was going to school to go and read architecture. When I got to campus, on my floor, second floor of floor A, there was a medical doctor, medical student opposite my room who was sewing. So here was this medical student doing medicine online, but I was sewing at the same time. So I realized that I could have actually been sewing while still schooling. Instead of giving up the sewing contract altogether. Upon hindsight, I say that was out of ignorance, gross ignorance, because I could have still been sewing, and I'm sure by now I would have had some mega fashion business alongside architecture or something of the sort.
So what do you think was what do you think you didn't make that decision?
Why do I think
You didn't make that decision?
Lack of knowledge. Yes. I said ignorance.
Okay.
Because I thought I was going to the university. What do you do at the university? You go and learn. So I was going to school to go and learn. So what would sewing be doing in my student life? I didn't
know. So the sewing is for who? So the sewing is for who?
That is that grossly ignorant.
Okay.
If I knew what I knew today, I would have still gone to school and be sewing at the same time.
That's right. Because you had a skill that there was immediate need.
There was demand for that skill. It was lucrative and
That's
all
right.
that. So why do I abandon it altogether? Just because I was going to.
You are in the university.
It didn't make sense. I mean, upon hindsight, there's no sense in doing that.
Wow. Okay, David, somebody is saying, I am an African American who has an idea to go to school in West Africa to gain a skill, maybe not a degree, experience Africa, form relationships all at the same time as a 40-year-old man. What do you think? He's an African American. He wants to come to Africa, maybe Ghana, to learn a skill and to build relationships. What do you think? That is his question. This is Antonio.
I think if the person is sold to the idea, it's worth pursuing it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because there are so many opportunities here. So many. I mean, too many to number. So if somebody out there sees that opportunity and wants to come and take advantage of it, why not? And I believe that through some of our engagement, we are trying to draw our people's attention that there are opportunities around us. You don't have to focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you can learn in order to take advantage of the opportunities in the system. In fact, during the reading period, let me say that one of the facts that really made a huge impression on me was a research finding that Harvard University had done. That pointed to the fact that of all the schooling we get, of all the education we get, it's able to harness only up to 22% of one's true or hidden potential or one's true greatness in life. In other words, if you go to school, become do your first degree, do your master's degree, do your doctorate, and even a professor. All that knowledge can help you harness just up to 22%. So everything else, the remaining 78% is not found in the classroom there. So even if you haven't attended school, you still need, and you are able to discover 98%, which is outside school. You are so much better off. And these are some of the things people should begin to abreast themselves with as we make some of these presentations, so that they can look beyond school and take advantage of the life and the opportunities all around us. So I would say could be whenever coming to learn a skill, because skill will always find revenue, no matter what the situation. Skill will always find revenue.
Skill will always find revenue.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. Skill will always find revenue. Wow. There is Oracle of Bantu people. He's asking, let's link up, or he's saying let's link up. I did a bit of architecture too. So somebody, maybe after maybe you can put your link there. So if anybody wants to find some things out, they'll be able to connect with you. Okay, so then that was in the university. You knew how to sew, but you didn't want to sew. I remember when you were in the university, we were also super church oriented. Instead of us going to the lab, we were praying at Padio, and I was even playing the keyboard. Go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, practice in between. Super on fire for Christ. And you complete school, and our mates are still pastors now. And those of us who didn't want to become pastors, call us, we're not Christians anymore. So how was religion? How was religion when you were on campus? Because I think this is very widespread. Most of our higher education is almost like you just go there to go to church and write exam, pass, and that's it.
I was very active in the church. Yes. I think that influence was way back from home. My family is what you call a typical Christian family, the kind of family where morning devotions and mass and things like that. So naturally, I found myself within the religious circle. So I was with PMSU, President Methodist Students Union. On Sundays, I wasn't part of their fellowship. Instead, I was part of the Inter-Hall Christian Fellowship.
Okay.
Part of UHF, Unity Hall Christian Fellowship, was actually the publicity secretary for a period, and then also IHF. So I was very active. I chaired Explo Night of Joy. I was the chairman for the 2 years that I joined Explo.
Explo, oh, you were in Explo as well.
I wasn't doing my singing. I can count the number of times I sang with the group.
My wife was in Explo. He says, abide.
Explo big. But I think even though it was helpful in shaping you in terms of discipline, it also stifled us a bit in terms of seeing how the world is for itself and being confident in facing the world and all that. I think it could have been better. There were aspects that were probably, students can be zealous, carry spiritualize everything and things like that. But on the whole, I think it was good. I was able to balance my time quite well. I wasn't also out for no. But I was I have something doing, I wouldn't mind forgoing church and doing it because the course was very tough. Architecture is a tough course. So you needed to really balance your time very well. So that was it.
So now, if you were on campus, what would you tell me if you are on campus now and you are talking to students, looking at Africa where we are, the kind of mindset that our students must develop? What would you say? They are 4 years in school. What should they put in their time?
Straight up, learn about what a human being is. Let me explain it this way. If I give you a pen, you know the functions of a pen. You know that a pen can write. Basically, it can also do other things if you choose to use it for. You can use a pen to shoot somebody. Forgive me for saying that. By using the pen for other purposes, but the basic purpose of a pen is to write. Now, as a human being,
yes,
you know how to use this device. Most people go through life without being made aware of this device and how to use it. You know, you can have a tool, but may never know how to use it, probably because you've seen others use it the wrong way and you learned it that way. You haven't taken time to read the manual for the tool and so on and so on. And that is typical of the human being. We are an amazing machine. We are so complex and so powerful. Yet, we go through life without being made fully aware of our innate power. The brain God has given us. What can it do? What can it not do? It aspires to. In fact, sadly, even how to learn. You'll be lucky if the formal education system takes you how to learn. There's a proper way of learning. I had the opportunity to read at least 3 books on how to learn. One was called How to Study. Then I had Partners. Then another one was Effective Studying Skills. So I know how to learn, and that helped me a lot. But the device, how do you use this device called me? I think every person, every student must take the trouble to find out. And there's information available. So that's the first thing. Now that borders on self-image. It so happened that for every 100 people you meet, 97 out of 100 underestimate their capabilities and do so little of their true or hidden potential. All because we've not taken time to learn how to use this machine. So every student must make it a point to understand how this machine is used for efficiency and for effectiveness. And then also, so that's the first thing, and that, like I said, borders on self-image. Most people have a very distorted image of themselves. Most people underestimate themselves and use very little of their true or hidden potential. Then next, still on this issue of self-image. You know, when growing up, what people say to us, our experiences and so on, make us really look to ourselves through the negative eyes of other people, especially as Africans. They will tell you things that will dampen you consciously or unconscious, and I call them Trojans. And some of these even happen in church. There are messages from the pulpit that Trojans. They come as though they are helping you, but inherently they have destructive elements that make people look themselves through the negative eyes of other people. You must learn about these Trojans so that you can avoid them. And if you can't avoid them, avoid being affected by them. Okay, so that is the second thing I'd like people to know. The third thing, life or the world functions on principles. The world functions on principles, not faith and what have you. So people must take time to learn these principles that govern life. I call them the natural laws. They are known, they've been documented. People must take time to find them. So let me give an example. If you stand on a cliff and somebody pushes you over, you will fall down. Whether you're a good person or you're a bad person, it doesn't matter because there's a natural force called gravity that is acting on you, whether you're a good person or a bad person. There's nothing you can do about it. There are other natural laws. So we have things like the law of the, we have things like the law of diffusion of innovation. We have so many of them. People must get to know these natural laws. Now, interestingly, the world's truly great achievers know these natural laws. They apply them and they work for them, whether they are believers or unbelievers. So I think everybody, especially believers, must know these natural laws and apply them. Now, the fourth one, people must learn how to learn. And here, one of the favorite quotes that excites me so much was by John Rockefeller. He's John D. Rockefeller. He said that we now accept the fact that learning is a process of keeping abreast of change, and the most pressing task is to teach people how to learn. We now accept the fact that lifelong learning or learning is a lifelong process of keeping abreast of change, and the most pressing task is to teach people how to learn. Now, I've tried it before. You know, when in my business, some time ago, when I take on a new person, give a person an appointment letter that spells out all that is required for the person, and then accept, and then things move on. I found out that invariably that one page document they read, and oftentimes they don't get the import what the document is saying. So they come and asking questions that you've already addressed in the document. I've sent documents to bankers, to pastors, to whatnot. And when I write, I try to bullet. So I'll make point 2, point 3, just so that you know that I've actually taken time to set the aspects you need to know from the communication I'm sending across. And people still make points that you've outlined, and they are asking you. I remember when I sent some documents to one of the big banks. You send documents, and they write and ask you to send the document. The document that you've already sent, they write and request that you should send it. So people really don't know how to get the best out of documents. And it is one of the greatest problems in the corporate world. But a lot of people are ignorant of it. So people must learn how to get information or how to make the most of information they read from documents, from books, and so on, especially students. You know, reading is a very popular learning method. A lot of people read and they try to remember what they've read and all that. But reading is a lower learning method. There are 12 methods of learning, and reading is just at the bottom. Such that scientifically it's been established that when you read something over 2 weeks, you remember only 10% of what you read. There are other methods that allow you to remember as much as 90% within 2 weeks. So while just reading, you remember just about 10%. Other methods, I said there are about 12 methods, will help you to remember as much as 90%. So if you combine them, it means that you are going to remember 100%. People must know this. Then also, there are 7 key resource areas of life. I call them the life management factors. One is time management. Two.
Okay, before you come to those, the 7 key life management. Maria said something. I want your reaction on it. School in Africa, especially in Ghana, will be one of the best ways to assimilate quickly into the culture. Gaining a skill will then become very easy. What I've found out myself is that there are institutions, as Africans, the way we are educated, there are 2 institutions I think that they destroy us. You talk about when you started to you talk about identity, finding the human body yourself. I think that the school, as it's designed, is designed to destroy us. I so believe in that, because if you look at the output and how we behave after we have gone through the school, I think that we come out of the school lost of who we are, especially as Africans. I stand by that. And I also think that the religion is super high. And so the things that you're talking of, like, for instance, the laws of life, natural laws, for instance, those things would, I mean, the 2 main religions in Africa, Islam and Christianity, will not make you use those things. I don't know what you think about it, but I've been through Christianity. And I think that especially the latter part, the Pentecostal charismatic people, as we came out of it, will not let you apply those natural laws to live and to plan your life.
True.
And that's where we are, where we are. You know, so when you're discussing something with somebody says, I'm going to pray about it, what God tells me, and he has prayed about it for 20 years, God has not spoken. Because that's the training. and you see the youth is locked up in that. The youth of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, we are locked up in super religious rendition. You know, so we are somewhere, the rest of the world is going somewhere. The power of the brain, we are not using it because they have pumped us not to trust in that. We virtually don't believe in ourselves. That's the fact. Until somebody wakes us up, you know, and that's why most of us are attracted to. When people run away from problem, it's a proof that they don't know themselves.
Exactly.
You know? So that's what I think. And when we were doing engineering in school, for instance, it was designed not for you to find yourself and apply anything here. It was purely designed so that you run away to America. That's the fact. So before you go to the next step, I want to ask you, why did you build your professional life here? Why didn't you run away?
Kwabena.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Ghanaian.
Okay.
If I know I was brought here for a reason. And if I should be religious here, I'll say that the good book says that we are blessed in the city. We are blessed in the field. We are blessed when we come and where we go. So it doesn't matter where you are. You can flourish. There are people in Ghana who live better life than those in Europe and the Americans. Yes. So it doesn't matter where you find yourself. And especially for developing countries, opportunities are uncountable because we are still developing. And developing means doing things. And so why can't it be part of the doing of the things? So that is what has kept me here. Yes.
Okay.
So what distracts me even the more from going outside. I mean, for a holiday, fine, but to go and stay there, so I'm not. No.
Okay, they will meet you. What did you? So how did you start your firm? What are some of the challenges that you met? Somebody is actually asking. You should continue your learning process, but before you go to that, what informed you? So right after I know in architecture, you have to be after school you have to be put under training or something. Is that true? You write some exams or?
Yes. It's a process. It's a process. But my first practice was not traditional architectural practice. No. And I took my former boss this and he was looking at me that I'm not going to practice architecture the way he is practicing like traditional. No. Let me put it this way. I grew up seeing my dad doing things because he was an artist. He used to, and he majored in textile. So he used to design textile prints and actually print them himself. So I saw all the processes hands-on, that your hand can do things. So I grew up in an environment where I learned that these things are not perfect. We can do things. Human beings do things. It doesn't matter whether you are black or white. You are capable of doing things. So I started early doing things. So I started building cars. But up until secondary school, Form 3, thereabout, I was still doing cars when I go home. It was my dad who drew my attention that I was going up and I should put those things aside. I was doing then co-pot and selling. So I started selling very well. I started business very well. So I knew I was going to be doing things for myself. And I wasn't going to be tied down by one. In fact, campus, I used to do hanging. I used to do t-shirts. I've printed t-shirts for SRC before. I was doing all sorts of things. I was designing campaign posters, those 3D posters for them politicians. So anything that will bring some revenue, and I know I can do all things if I apply myself to it. That's my life. I take advantage of opportunity. So I do all manner of things. I have done business plan for people. I build a team and we do it. So that's how I live. I'm not tied down one way. So the first practice actually was to build Ghana's building industry website. So we built it. We called it building.net and edited it at the 4th International Building Exhibition. Okay. Now, building has evolved to CS App. We can talk about that later. But that was the core of starting the deal. So the first business was not like I'm setting up an architectural firm. No. It was to do a website for the building industry. In essence, I wanted a place where if I want to know the finishes on the market, I don't have to go from shop to shop. From Kimo, then you go to West Africa Hardware or no. I want to sit behind my computer, log on and see what each of these people have.
So do you know anything about IT, website design, coding, or what? Or you built a team to do it?
Yes, I learned web development. In fact, the first software I learned was computer programming software, Visual Basic 4. At the time where I hadn't even learned AutoCAD, the software that I used for drawing. I learned programming before I learned how to use AutoCAD, for instance. So I knew I was actually doing a software for the building industry at a time when that level of thought was not mainstream. I knew it was so big that I needed development.
How did you learn that? How did you learn Visual Basic? How did you go to school? Private school?
You know, from the beginning, I indicated that I learned how to learn very early. I learned 3 books, effective studying skills, passing examinations, they have to study. These 3 books taught me how to get information from any book or any video or any material, irrespective of the subject area. So if I want to learn anything in this world, all I need is the right books. I will learn. So I learned Visual Basic on my own, and I also learned web development on my own. So I can write HTML code, the language behind the web, or the language behind the web. But these days they are more rapid development tools. They are more, WYSIWYG tools like maybe content management systems like WordPress, and there are site builders like Elementor, DB, and others. Makes the work a lot easier. So I can do all that.
Wow.
The prototype is what I did. But I also believe in delegation. I only learned enough so that I understand how things work. But I want others to do it. So I did the prototype and then commissioned a professional web developer to do a website for me for the exhibition. Can you believe that on the day of the exhibition, the guy had not been able to deliver? So at the end of the day, it's the prototype I had designed that we used for the exhibition.
Why did he fail you?
Attitude. Either attitude now, mostly. Subsequently, I got other developers. And I push a lot. For instance, I get new ideas. I innovate a lot. So in the middle of the night, I may get ideas that need to be implemented. I can't wait for following day, write an email and say, I do XYZ. I want to be able to wake up and do that myself, see the results immediately, things like that. So that made me go to the HTML and web development more. So eventually, I've had too many people disappoint. I try to do it full-fledged. So I've learned content CMS like WordPress. I've learned Elementor. I've learned all manner of things. So this time, I do the website myself. I want it to now, then I'll get others to come in so that I don't have to be slowed down by anyone just because the person has the knowledge and I don't have. I must have the knowledge, but you do it because I can't do everything. Where I need to come in, I should be able to do it. If you wake up today and you are not, if you fall sick today and you are not available, my website should not stop just because I'm not available. I should be able to do it. So that's how I am. Like, so that was my first. Of course, because we were 3 architects actually, and because we're architects, we were also doing the architecture alongside. But a lot of the things I do are not mainstream architecture. I do a lot of other things. Yeah.
All right. Before you continue. All right. Before we continue your business, what you have learned out of school and through now your professional life, we want you to tell us the 7 life management principles that you wanted to talk about before we continue before we come back to the professional and how you manage your business, how you work with people, the difficulties, the challenges.
All right. Yes. So the question was about the things if you are going to school now, people should be paying attention. So I got into what I was calling the 7 key areas of life. And I mentioned some of them. I mentioned time management.
Time management.
Yes.
Okay.
So people understand what time management is, especially tech people. They think that it's a matter of coaching scripture that is within the time and the days are able, then you are done time management. But time management is a whole lot. It's the control of sequence of things in one's life. You need to be planning these things. There are principles for doing that, of course, this will not allow us to go into the details of it. So time management. Then emotions management. We must learn to manage our emotions. As humans, we are emotional bugs. We are controlled by emotions. Some are positive, others are negative. The positive ones are easy to manage, and the negative ones are so terrible. They have terrible effects on us, and we are often terrible at dealing with them. So people must learn the principles involved in managing every kind of emotion. And thankfully, all the negative emotions, no matter how many they all can be summed up into just 10 core emotions. And there are methods of dealing with each of them. People must learn this thing. And also people management, or better put, leadership. How to lead people, how to manage people, even though technically say that you don't manage people, you lead them. But you must learn true leadership. And if I say that often when people go for seminars or read books, they are told that there are 3 core leadership techniques. We have the democratic, the autocratic, and then the laissez-faire. Now, interestingly, none of these is true leadership. All these are half leadership. The proper way to lead and get results whilst helping the people. People must take their time to learn what true leadership is. Then faith management. People must learn to manage their faith. And people have faith that are idle. So you need to think that God has disappointed them. But you listen to their story and realize that they were just not managing their faith. They had what they call false faith. So people must learn to manage their faith. There are principles that they need to understand. So that is also. Then people must learn to understand what happiness is about and the principles for living a happy life. People think they must go on retirement before they can be happy. Others think they must win a lottery or they must get some huge amount in their account. Some people think they must get married before they can be happy. Put conditions for being happy. But happiness intrinsic. It doesn't depend on external. People must learn these things. Yes. What else have I not talked about?
Okay, so you have talked about time. You have talked about emotions, people, happiness. So those are 4.
Time, people,
Yeah,
faith,
emotions,
happiness.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the other 2 have a schedule. If I remember, I'll get to them.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's say
I remember health. The other one is health.
Health. Okay.
The other one is health. And then the last one is finance. Their money.
Fine.
Learn to manage their finances. People must learn to manage their health. Now, we grow up thinking that falling sick, falling ill is a normal part of life. I'm here to submit that it is not. It's not normal to fall sick. The body as our Creator made it is not supposed to fall sick because the body has its own healing mechanism. So follow the right principles. The body can exist without falling.
Is it not the devil?
Come in.
It's not the devil.
Oh, the devil has no power.
They'll beat you.
for things he
Is
has
that
been
level?
we are giving
Eh,
him.
they say that every problem that you're meeting is a spiritual problem.
So the body has healing mechanism, and since I discovered that, that was second year or third year, I've not had cause to take curative medication or go for treatment per se. Yeah. So, and I test the body a lot. When I realize that I've overstretched and the body begins to complain, it means that I have to rest, eat well, drink lots of water, and that's it. My body will take care of itself.
The other time, I was reading something on people who live long, and these things came up that they don't smoke or they smoke very little if they smoke at all, and they don't drink a lot of alcohol if they drink at all. They rest. They are very positive people. They look at the consequences of their decisions and choices. They have very good relationship with family and friends. You know, they follow basic things. They don't worry and stress so much. Now, people don't look at these things. You know, we trivialize some of these things, and then when somebody dies unexpectedly, we say that it's God who has taken him, and everything is in the hands of God. You know, then I ask them, why do we go to hospital when we are sick? If it's in the hands of God, then let's leave it as it is. So, just as you are saying, there is a lot that we can control. As hello. Hello, I think we are losing him. Hello. So there's a lot, maybe David will come back. So there's a lot that we need to learn in terms of those. So I was reading about some of these things, and it shows that if you are very meticulous, if that's the English word, if you're very meticulous with your lifestyle, what you drink, what you eat, where you sleep, what you breathe in, if you're not so much negative and pessimistic about life, if you build good relationships, if you look at what you eat, you know, a lot of these things can contribute to us living, you know, preventing us from dying that early. But most people would want to leave a lot of things in the hands of God or out of our control. So, but I think, just as he said, the human body is that much complex and well built, and it doesn't just crash like that. If we learn how to take good care of it, there is a lot. You don't, as a matter of fact, you don't have to be even sick in the when you're very old. If you take good care of the body when we have a lot of energy, we don't have to die sick. Instead, if you look at our lifestyle, but you see, we've been fed so much with a lot of contrary opinions on almost everything. So that the very things that will help people to live happily and more successful in their lives, then we just say maybe. We are not so much straight on those things, you know, and so most people trivialize those. And then when life becomes complicated, then we say that you know. But a lot of the times, it's because of our lifestyle. So let's see if David would get back with us. And so today I'm talking with my friend, an architect. He lives in Ghana. He went through the system. A lot of our youth will have to hear what people have gone through and what they're doing now. You know, so I was asking him about his professional life and what. Okay, so David, you're welcome.
Sorry.
Back. No, that's fine. That's fine. It's technology. We are fine. All right. So you were talking.
Yes. Yes, I was saying, you were saying that there are people who don't smoke. They and we usually don't pay attention to these things. Yes, all those things come into play. when you are managing your health. Positive thoughts are very important. Right. You must laugh a lot.
Yeah.
You must not bear grudge. You know, you must be positive generally. You must have adequate sleep. And adequate sleep is not necessarily 8 hours. You can sleep 8 hours, but if you have things on your mind and all the things, you haven't rested adequately. Somebody can sleep for 3 hours, 4 hours. But if the person doesn't have things on his or her mind, is able to sleep soundly, the person is likely to have adequate sleep even more than the person who has slept for 8 hours and has issues on her mind or his mind and things like that. So there are so many things that come into play to be aware of and then employ to help ourselves. So those are the 7 core or key resource areas of life: health, wealth, happiness, emotions, leadership, time management, faith management, and I think that's about it. There's 7.
So you talk about finance. Share your thoughts on finance and how you have used that to manage your business.
Say that again, please.
Talk about finance. Though I did hear you mention of finance, so I want to hear. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, just as you plan your time, you must plan your finances. Yes. And it starts with living within your means and then increasing your means so that you can better live within your means. I'll repeat that. You first live within your means. Then you increase your means so that you can better live within your means.
Okay.
Yes. So
all right.
I knew that I was starting a business. I wasn't on someone else's payroll where every month something is coming in and you can blow and expect the next one. No. Okay, so the first decision is to live simple. So I'll share this with you. When I was getting married, there was no living room furniture in my hall. We bought plastic chairs, 4 white plastic chairs at the time I was getting married. And I had a supportive wife who also didn't care about others.
How did you choose it? What did you use?
It's a beautiful story.
God showed you, maybe.
I'll say God.
Yes. That answers everything.
Yeah. But the events that led to meeting her and entering into a relationship were quite unique. And I can only say that it was divinely orchestrated because I was said that it wasn't anybody at all I could get married to because of I'm S positive, so I'm AS. Right. I'm S, sickling positive. So I can't get married to just anybody at all. I must get someone who is AA. You can't go around asking every woman you meet that what is your sickling status. No. So I had to actually leave it to a divine will. And through a number of processes, I think that happened. And she happened to be AA when eventually. So, but the first time I saw her was actually at a IACF, the last day of the year. I saw her in front dancing, and I just felt within me that could be my wife.
It was in church.
Come again?
It was in church.
Yes, ICF, the whole Christian Fellowship meeting.
Yes, so you went to church.
Not your regular church. It was
Yeah.
a fellowship.
So you went to church to praise God.
But interestingly, when we closed, because I didn't want it to seem like infatuation, I didn't talk to her. That was the first time I was seeing her. But I didn't wait to speak with her. I left the place immediately. Usually after fellowship, you will interact with people. But that particular day, I didn't want anything of the sort where I'll be forcing myself into something that may not really be the thing. So I left the place. And where I
You're a Christian brother.
where I went to, she found herself there.
Okay.
Now I was with a friend. And when the friend saw her about 200 meters away, the friend called her. Come and meet this my friend. He's like God. Hey, so I was like, yeah, this lady that I'm running away from. And one thing led to the other, and as they say, the rest is history.
History. So she also did what course?
Biological science.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Fantastic. so then it worked. So you said that you had to start the business with what you had from a very basic level.
Yes, so
you were talking
there
about
was no furniture. There was no furniture in the living room. I was rather using the income that I was getting to buy computers and accessories and things to set up a business. So I started in the living room. So when people came to our hall, they saw 4 plastic chairs and computers. Some people come and say, "Are you using this place for an internet cafe?" I was laughing in my head and say, "You go have no clue." So that's how it started. I did a lot of jobs from the room. I did jobs for big companies, and I made sure that I went to them instead of they coming to me. So it means I had to make sure I was delivering. I shouldn't give my clients any reason why they would want to visit where I'm working from.
So what did your parents say? What did your friends say when you started?
And raise some money. Fortunately for me, I didn't have too many people discouraging me. I hardly pay attention to what people say, and they know I have very strong opinions. When I take a decision and I'm convinced by it, nothing you say really moves me. So I'm sure they didn't even bother. Yes, so that helped.
So this was how many years after? This was how many years after? Let's say I don't know if you did national service. This was how many years after national service?
It was soon after service.
Okay, all right.
Soon after service. So I started that way. It was very interesting. So along the line, we were able to raise some revenue to rent an office space, increase staffing and things like that. And that's when we started building the website really. Before then, I was doing documentation. So I did documentation for example, Ghana Telecom those times. We documented all their properties across the country. Put it on CD in soft form and printed copies for them wherever they have equipment. So we listed all the equipment, drew all of them, all the towers, what were hanging on the tower. We did all that from that corner before we moved to an office space. Yeah, so that's how it's been. There's been challenges, of course. For startups, revenue can be up and can be down. And sometimes you have to negotiate with your staff to appreciate that things are not too good. In fact, there were times I had to negotiate with my landlord for the office space. This was a very, principled landlady. A lot of people were scared even going to talk to her about things like that. But I had to learn how to negotiate and go and negotiate and do installment payments. So I was offered the opportunity to do installment payment, which helped a lot and things like that. Yes, so we're making mistakes here and there, but we're learning very fast in the process. And I think that the experiences I learned from that has also influenced what I do as a life coach. So for instance, I employed marketers, and I realized that some of their weaknesses stem from some of the things that we are not taught in school. So I'll read a lot of I realized I was reading even more marketing books than they were reading. So I had to bring all these things so that before.
So what was marketing part of your course in the university?
No, marketing.
Why? Why do you think it's like that?
The time those courses were designed, as a professional, you didn't need to do so much to get a job. The jobs were available.
Okay.
Yeah. So marketing was really not. You were taught how to do presentations, and even that one, you were not schooled that when you are doing presentation, these are the principles that. No. You watch your seniors doing.
Do you think they have added it now?
Oh, I don't think they've added it, but I think every course, marketing should be part. Every course.
Yeah.
Indeed, until I started business, I didn't even understand what marketing was about. I remember my dad, after he had finished his master's, he went and one of those days he brought books, said, oh, he's trying to do marketing. I was like, what is this man talking about? I just closed my mind to it. What is marketing? You are not in a market, But all those things are ignorant. So I didn't pay attention to what he was talking about.
Just as you said, most technical professional people, doctors, engineers, lawyers, teachers, they hardly know how to market themselves and the talent. We have it. Most engineers, most doctors, it's not part of the course at all. How you have to present yourself and convince people to be with you, convince people to give you money, convince people to give you a project, convince people to take your idea. Is not part of it. So somebody will ask you what is marketing plan. If you enter business now, you have to go and learn all those. Especially if you did a lot of these so-called technical courses, the sciences. I'm sure those who do biology, chemistry, or physics is the same. Mathematics is the same. That's why when you are from those departments, it's very difficult. It's very modern. I know a doctor who says that I don't go to the money side. I only work as a doctor. I was asking who told you this? Because you pay rent for the facility.
Yeah.
So well,
it's very, very important and should be part of every course. So those listening to us, if your course structure does not include marketing, you must make the effort to get marketing books for yourself and learn marketing. Learn
marketing and sales. Marketing and sales. A lot of the time, if you look at the structure of the economy, it's a bit easier to start a business if you're very good at selling.
Yes.
Because
and if you know how
most of us will not.
You can sell anything. Companies businesses want their products and services sold. Once you can sell for them, they will not deny you. They will even be happy to have you. So,
but you see, if you look at 90% of our courses, selling is not part. Selling is not part.
Yeah.
90% of
so
the
people should make it a point to learn it on their own. Yes. I remember
if you are on
I was invited on a career fair for some international school in Ghana. And
yes.
they asked for our last comments. And that's what I emphasized on. But from the look on their face, I could tell that they were not immediately appreciating marketing.
No.
Yeah, but it's very,
What
very
they want, because they should go to Makola and say, no. They went to school.
yeah.
They went to school. They didn't go to learn how to market. And fortunately, that's where the money is. That's where the money is. You know how to convince people, sell your idea to yourself. And I think if there are anything that are learned out of school, that's how those things that have helped us, it will be the financial knowledge, the selling.
Yes.
Learning about money and learning how to push yourself out. You know, learning how to, because people will discourage you. It's not nice. It's especially if you have been to the so-called school. It's not nice. Nobody will. We call it buying and selling. We call it selling. That's how we call it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will be discouraged that we need to go and industrialize, which is cool, which is okay. But when you industrialize and you produce the product,
it has to be sold.
You know. Okay. So what are some of the, what would you encourage a young person? Work ethics. Because I have seen that beyond the stabilization of our mind as a people, the work ethics, what kind of work ethics that do you think we should have? Because a lot of the time when you employ people, the work ethics that they come with, it takes a lot of time for them to get to a state where you can really count on people.
Yeah. I think it should be approached in two ways. People must begin to take on attachments while they are in school so that they can have a feel of the work environment. So that when they finish school and they can fit in quickly. Then employers must also make it a point to train new recruits and allow them room to grow quickly and fit in. So this two-pronged approach will help as far as the work ethics bit is concerned. But people must appreciate that there's dignity in labor.
Okay.
There's dignity in labor. It's very, very important. People must understand that hard work pays. And there's no replacement for hard work. No replacement for hard work. Now, people try to use semantics to say that don't work hard, work smart. Whatever. It's hard work. And hard work is not necessarily exerting sheer labor force. It involves creative thinking. So someone like Henry Ford and his mentor, one of them says that thinking is the hardest work there is. That is probably why only a few engage in it. So when we say work hard, it doesn't mean that I should look for a hammer and be going cracking rocks. No. You must apply a lot of creative thinking. And part of understanding how the machine called me works, you will learn how to use your mind or your brain to think creatively. So in our training, we have what we call the 8-step creative thinking process. There are steps to use and to be more creative in your approaches to things. All these things can be learned. So people should just understand that 99.99% of the knowledge they need to excel in life are known and documented. I want to repeat that. 99.99% of the knowledge and skills they need to be able to excel in this life and excel really, really, really well are already known and have been documented. They are in books, they are in videos, they are in audios, and so on. They should just open up and learn, make themselves available. I have written about 14 books teaching some of these principles. If
talk to us about
come again.
Talk to us about the books you have written.
I should talk to you about when I'm free.
The books that you have written.
Oh, okay. So I have the creative paradigm. The creative paradigm talks about how to use your mental faculties to be more creative, to be able to solve complex problems, come up with unique ideas and solutions to problems and all that. Then I have Winning Leads. Winning Leads deals with the issue of
what did you say?
Winning leads. Winning, as in winner.
Okay.
Winning leads. Winning leads talk about the Trojans, some of the things that we encounter in life growing up that wound us without us knowing, to achieve that in winning leads. Then I have the primary paradigm. The primary paradigm talks about how the great achievers of this world, truly great achievers of this, how they look at things, why they look at things that way, and how that looking at things that way immediately gives you an advantage over everybody else. And in addition to that, it talks about the natural laws as well. Then I have Brainy Acts for Learners. That one teaches the principles for getting the most out of write-ups, presentations, and so on. Then I have books on the 7 key resource areas I talked about. Leadership, that's the true leader. I have the art of happiness. I have the big deal, which deals with emotions. I have health management. No, I have healthy habits that talks about how to manage your health. And I have wealthy habits, how to manage your finances. Then I have Oasis in the Desert. It talks about why even good people encounter difficulties and how to deal with that in order to be truly fulfilled in life. Yes, and then the Oga Pata 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 of them all is what I call the ultimate paradigm. The ultimate paradigm teaches entrepreneurship with a different approach altogether. Yeah, it deals with the 5 key ways of making money, the advantages and disadvantages of each of them, and then makes a recommendation on true or proper entrepreneurship and the principles to use to excel. And within it, it talks about the marketing, the need for business plan, the need for marketing plan, and all those things. Yeah. So those are the set of books that carry the information we are generally sharing.
If anybody wants to get a copy of the book, where do they find it?
Go online, csapp.com.
CS. When you can send.
So I'll type it.
That's right. You type it. So I can add them.
So let me type it.
Yes.
For you, Daniel. And then Amazon.
Okay.
But I purposely wrote an introductory book that introduces all these. So I recommend that people should get that first. It is simple, gives you the background to everything, and then talks about all these 13 as well. I think people should
which one?
That one on Amazon.com.
Okay, and what is it?
Purpose Compass.
Purpose Compass.
Yeah, okay. The Purpose Compass.
But do you? One of the things that I have seen, maybe when we were in school, is the same. You would hardly see anybody read anything beyond the course that you're doing.
Please come
that you see. I said, I mean, when we were in school, I don't know whether it has changed, but you would hardly see somebody with a book beyond the course that you're reading. You know, if you will see anything at all, it will be the religious books that they were reading. Most students were not reading them.
Yes.
And even now, I think we have a problem with how people individually go after knowledge. You know, because I think that if anybody can consume a lot in terms of knowledge on what they do, eventually they will find a path. It's my firm belief. It doesn't matter how you started. If you go after what you are looking for and you read beyond the classroom, you read for life, not for exam, they say, eventually you'll find the common truth that anybody should find.
You will.
You will. What they're doing work. I think it's different.
I agree with you. I wrote an article. It was a bit controversial though, but it was worth. The title was "What the Church Refuses to Teach About Christianity." People can find it on CS app and read. They will be blessed. What the church refuses to teach about Christianity. I did an interview on it on Sweet Melodies. It was very interesting.
And what was the outcome?
It was positive. I had one bishop who had 100 young ministers under him invited me to speak to them. And I was impressed that at least the message had gone down well. As controversial as it sounded, they were seeing reason. So for a whole bishop with about 100 ministers under him to invite you to speak to them along those lines, it spoke volumes. People should find that article.
What do you think, as Africans and blacks, we seem, especially on the continent, we seem to be occupied with religion too much? It's as if somebody has told us that we will not go to heaven.
Unfortunately, I did not hear the last part. So if you could kindly repeat.
I said that Africans, particularly those in the continent, seem to be over-occupied with religion across board, everywhere. It's almost like we are not able to separate religion from any other thing. Religion must come into almost everything. You seem to think that the Bible is the only book that is needed. Any other data seems to be very irrelevant.
It's an error. Recently, I had the occasion to draw a minister's attention that it's erroneous to refer to the Bible as the Word of God. And eventually he agreed with me. So he changed his presentation. Now, I try to help you to appreciate that the Bible was discovered just recently. Life had gone on all this while before the Bible came in. So the Bible cannot be all of a sudden replace everything else we've known and done. So the Bible needs to be placed into its proper context. It's made up of history, it's made up of poetry, it's made up of letters and prophecies. Each of these have lessons to draw from. They are not a dictation to us that we must, by all means, swallow hook, line, and sinker, and just say that because the Bible has said it, we must. It doesn't work like that. And I think anybody who truly reads his Bible with good sense of comprehension will hardly refer to the Bible as the word of God in its entirety, and would because it's not everything the Bible you can even obey. If we were to obey everything in the Bible, the chaos that will happen in this country, we have no idea. So the Bible needs to be placed in its proper context.
I think that to unchain the African, those of us who think we are young, and for us, because if you look at global politics now, if you look at COVID, if you look at trading, commerce, and look at how Africans must wake up, to unchain the African, you must look at that book and how it was presented.
Yes.
Or we will sit down, and those who are working hard will probably try to take everything that we have, and we will still be handling what they call the Bible. Because I think there is a lot of misunderstanding right from the beginning. How whoever, recent beginning or whatever, whoever introduced that book to us and how they explain it.
Yes.
I think the error has not changed. So people are discovering in science, innovation, in business, and we are trying to explain the Bible to the youth. You are talk to average Kenyan youth, Nigerian youth, super religious, fully ignorant of any other thing apart from religion.
Exactly.
And it's dangerous that some of them will even tell you that I only read a book from my pastor. And the book from your pastor is not teaching chemistry, it's not teaching architecture, it's not teaching engineering, it's not teaching mining, it's not teaching entrepreneurship, it's not teaching, anything that will make you become successful in charge of your economy. It's not teaching you that. And yet you are saying that the book that you read is from these people. How are you going to become the giants on the land? If you don't understand things that will equip you to be the leader in industry. So there is a huge error.
Yes.
And all right. So David, if you are just joining us, I'm talking to my friend. He's an architect, he's an author of 14 books. Congratulations on that. He's a teacher, he's a businessman, he lives in Ghana. We actually went to the same university, and he's sharing with us, he's teaching us what he has learned all these years and all the successes that he has shown. And so continue if there are other lessons, especially with business, because I believe that if anybody who has gone to KNUST, I think there is something about that school. Most of us eventually try to do something. I don't know why, but I think the training there is good, such that we are not afraid to be independent and fight for something.
Yes.
So when you're from that school, you are not really so much academically caged, so to say. You seem to push yourself and there. And I think there's something that maybe is the best of brain went there, I think. The only thing is that a lot of us should also enter politics and change things. That's my thing.
I agree with
that
you.
A lot of people must go into politics as well.
You realize that there are a lot of practical courses on UST campus, so that helped. And a lot of people were doing business. So, for instance, one of the popular businesses on campus was Jack Do.
Okay.
Jack Do Yogurt.
Which one is that? Okay. All right.
Yogurt. Yeah. Jack Do Yogurt eventually became a successful business outside school. You will find Jack Do Yogurt in the supermarkets and all that. Yes. There were photographers, there were graphics people who are still doing graphic design, and so people were doing commercial, what we used to call commerce. That helped give some sense of education. Even the com centers on campus were being manned by students.
That's right.
So that helped shape our perception that life can be practical.
So anybody wants to go into, let's say, if anybody wants to start the kind of businesses that you do, give us a recommendation. I want to start an architect, what's the architecture fair, for instance. Any business, any other business that may be construction firm, engineering firm. What are the things that you think the person should go through?
I'll apply general business approach to it first before the specifics of it.
Okay.
For me, from the experience I've had, planning is critical.
All right.
Planning is critical. Yes. Planning will help you foresee some of the hurdles that are likely to come ahead of you and to find ways of mitigating it. And as part of the planning, you need a mentor, someone who has gone ahead of you, who has done it, so that you learn from that person's experiences. They say that.
How do we find them?
You remember you've said that if you make the effort, you find.
Okay.
So there are businesses around. First of all, you must be serious and appear serious before you approach anybody. I'm part of iMentor Ghana. I'm a volunteer mentor with iMentor Ghana. They are assigned as mentees to mentor. And one of the problems all the mentors are facing is that the mentees are not committed.
They are not committed. Where is coming from? Why? Why are they not committed?
Because we haven't emphasized the need for it. Over the years, mentorship has not really been a thing in our culture. Yeah, especially with the overemphasis on education. So you get your degree, you go and you write application, you look for a job. That's it. That's basically what the average student is running by. That's the software the average student is running. So they don't see apprenticeship, mentorship, attachment, all those things as very, very, very relevant. But they are. That's the way to go. And mentors are all over.
The people who didn't go to school, the so-called school, those who drop out, seem to use that apprenticeship.
Yes, it works.
Find a master.
Yes.
But the moment you go to school now, you know everything.
Oh, you don't know nothing.
You become less ambitious.
On this platform, we are putting it on record that after school, you know next to nothing. You don't know anything. You need a mentor. You need someone to guide. So one of my role models says that the certificate you get from school says that you've learned to learn how to learn to work. I'll repeat that. The certificate you get from school only shows that you've learned how to learn to work.
So you don't even know the work.
You don't know anything. You have to learn. You need a mentor to guide you.
Okay.
Yes. And they are all over. In fact, one thing I've come to realize is that people with experience want to share, but they want to share with only people who are serious. I remember I needed one big man to do a foreword for one of my books for me. Now, the the man gave me appointment, and he said that all he hadn't met me then. He said all he had was 15 minutes. Now, when I met him, after about an hour, I had to cut the discussion. This is how I would say he had only 15 minutes. So people want to share.
But what did he say he had 15 minutes? What did he have to say?
Because he's a busy person. He doesn't know you. So ordinarily, for someone he doesn't know, if he spends 15 minutes of his precious time, he's done a huge sacrifice. Then he needs.
David, do you know what I think about this thing? I think that as Africans, we a lot of the times forget the complexities of the situation we are in. Therefore, we apply the standards, global standards, Western standards. You just said that the problem that you're meeting with a lot of these mentees is that they don't have commitment.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot that will go into inform. Okay.
Let me give this example.
There's a lot that will go in to inform that. There's a lot of work we have to do as Africans before we apply.
Must be serious.
I think that individuals must be serious, but we have to really look at our situation well.
You know, I learned that the best helping hand is the one at the end of your own arm.
Okay.
And no matter how tall your grandfather is, you have to do your own growing.
Okay.
So others can make the effort. When somebody doesn't want to learn, there's no way you can help the person. If the person wants to learn, there's no way you can stop the person.
I agree to that, but I also would say this. For instance, I don't have any direct mentor I go to in business.
Yeah,
I don't have. I have not made that effort. I learned from afar.
Learn from
afar. I've learned a lot of the things that I know from afar, from books, from videos, from. I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't have.
They are your mentors indirectly.
Yes, but I am saying. Yes, I am saying that I've not really gone like one-on-one with a lot of them.
Okay.
I may do business with them, but I've not taken a lot of them as teachers. And this is my reason. That's why I was asking you, why would he give the 15 minutes? Because a lot of the times, I think that the frustration that we have to go through as Africans are not easily understood by the people who lead us and the people who position. So we come in with a lot of shortings, with a lot of disadvantages that we will need a lot of patience.
Yes.
But we don't get that. Okay, so we are told.
The point I was making is the person upon meeting me now was available to.
I agree, but
okay.
So, but I agree. But I think a lot of them should be rather looking for us. Look at Nigeria, what is happening.
Okay.
Look at Nigeria, what is happening. We have a lot of big men with billions in Nigeria. And you see the frustration that the youth are showing.
Yes.
Because the so-called big men are waiting for us to come to them.
Okay.
But the situation not to demand that. I think they should look at the complexity and calm down, whether they want to learn or they don't want to learn. Because a lot of them, let's face it, a lot of our big men, if you want to meet them, the barriers are many. Too many.
Okay.
Too many. This is bias. Too many. And you may not even feel like, sometimes if somebody has to call them, then you go there, it's very easy. But if you're coming from a village, and your name is unknown, and you mention your name is not a politician's son or the big lawyer's son, it's very difficult. And so most of these young people, they already have a lot of things that they're dealing with. They have a lot of pain. There are a lot of frustration, lot of lack of direction. I'm saying this out of some of the reports that I get out of some of the programs that we do. Okay, and sometimes they tell you that.
How do you explain a situation where an organization has taken upon itself the trouble of finding mentors and assigning them to you? This time, you are not the one going to look for the people because maybe there are barriers. Now, people have been found for you. Engage them too is a problem.
Yes, because if you go to the accident site, when there is a major accident, when you go there, what you first have to do is, those who are alive, you have to resuscitate them. You know, you have to make sure that they don't die. You have to take us to an accident field. Okay, what is happening in Nigeria?
You know, the big men to genuinely, they have their own stresses or challenges they have to deal with.
Okay, so that
you are not making life easier for them. Then it makes it difficult.
No problem. But then we will have SARS. We will have end SARS. That's what we are going to do. If we treat them as they have to show this, they have to do this, they have to do this. There's a lot of lack of information among our youth. You just attested to it. The school does not put a much in us. There's a lot of identity crisis. There are a lot of things fighting their mind. Okay, they're looking at their mates, young people who have joined politics and become great. They're looking at their mates who have gone to England and sending nice pictures to them. He's living his village, he's completed university, he's written 1,000, maybe 100 CVs, and nobody is responding to them. And he saw his mate, whose brother was a big man, and who has job now. You know, and the mother is only the mother who took care of him. These are realities. So I say that we have to take it upon ourselves to extend that hand. And if they have to fail 1,000 times, we have to be patient with them. This is what I'm saying.
On that score, I agree with you.
They will fail 1,000 times.
A young person's startup before, I knew it wasn't going to be easy for him. But the experiences he learned just trying on somebody's fund that he didn't have to pay back per se. Help the person. Now he's okay. He's found his feet. So on that, I agree with you.
Yes, but a lot of our big men.
Yes. Now if the same person, once, twice, thrice, he's just not pulling his weight, it will be very difficult to keep at it.
I agree. But if you try 1,000, maybe 10. Okay. And you have to be extremely, because I've been a lot patient with a lot of them. They will be even talking and they are aware. It is tough. And our so-called big men are not patient like that.
We need them to be patient. So
they are not.
We are asking them to be patient.
So I hardly go to them.
Okay.
I hardly. Especially not for something that will mean like they have to, because I think that they have to see it as the ultimate responsibility to make sure that they are grooming them, whether they like it or not, to take over.
Okay.
It must be a must, because Africa's situation is so different. Tell you, if somebody is coming from Korea to start a business in Africa, he's coming with free money from the government. There's a special fund that you can easily come to Africa to start business. That person can lose the money and the government will not do anything. Okay. You go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria, go to anywhere. If you want to borrow, government is not giving you money to start a business. Go to Cote d'Ivoire to start a business, no. And you are even making effort when you go there and you are tagged. These are reality. And I think that if our local big men don't see it as responsibility to come down and hold their hands, the people won't come. So when you say they don't come,
I get you. I get you on that score. Yeah.
They won't come. Forget it. These young men, they'll rather go and do my bed. Okay? They'll rather look for a visa to travel. They won't come, I'm telling you. And religious among us will start a church. And you know, that's all. They know it. And if you talk to them, you will see. Ask them how many books they read a month. You'll be shocked. Nothing.
Nothing.
They don't read anything.
True.
Yeah. And it is our responsibility to be so super patient with these young people. Okay. Or we will have a problem. Yes. Super. Okay. Especially with those who have gone to school. Because they seem to believe that they have something. They seem to believe that they have knowledge.
That unconscious incompetence. not knowing what you don't know and thinking that you are okay.
Because even when you employ him,
knowledge.
Yes, you employ him and he wants to come and teach you. You give him opportunity to go and talk to somebody and he wants to go and say something different. It's conditioning. Now you have to take them through the process to say that it's not done like that. And a lot of them will even fight with you for you trying to help them to think rightly. So we have a problem, and it's part of the training for them to really work to reason and processes and systems and go through the things gradually to build a business. They think they know everything, and me, I don't begrudge them because we have not attacked this consciously and constructively. To say that we want to develop a generation that will have very good work ethics, that will be patient and be straightforward and be honest and work through and respect somebody who will give them opportunity to work without playing fast. We have not been conscious with that in terms of development as a nation or as a continent. So they do anything that comes to them, both men and women.
True.
Yes. So for instance, look at football or look at musicians. We raise them so high. They're everywhere. You look at our media, it's full of entertainment and comedy. Where are the entrepreneurs? Where are the innovators? Look at people who are trying to create people to add value to anything. Let's face it. Where is it? Do we promote these things? We have a lot of television stations. What do they promote? So we have produced a generation which thinks that comedy is okay.
Comedy is okay. Even in church, is a entertainment side that people enjoy.
You see? So then we think that we have a lot of work to do. And that's why a lot of the times I hardly look up to a lot of these guys. I don't. I've never. Okay. And it's unfortunate. I wish I could find examples and somebody who will hold my hand and say, I'll teach you. A lot of the times when you go, you meet a lot of doubt. Yeah. And then most of these guys, maybe they are like me. They will go through that. So we have a lot of work. And that's what is happening in Nigeria, where they thought that they had to come out first, and it was not like that.
Okay.
It was not like that. So we have to go.
There should be a conscious effort on the part of the big
of the top. To hold their hand and tell them that we want you to be responsible, even if they say they don't want to be responsible. And even if they fail 1,000 times, we still have to raise their hand. Or
did you follow the McDonald Entrepreneurship Challenge?
I didn't watch it. I flashed it. I didn't watch it. Anyway, I believe in innovation. I believe in people building factories, building businesses independent of government. So I am not so much a fan of big business people using government positions to build businesses. I'm not a fan of that because I think that then opportunities go to just very few people. I think that if government has projects, they should give it to the young people. Give a contract to people, young people, anybody who you have a 3-year program that if you want a contract with this level, maybe 10 house to build, come, you qualify with tenure, then you will produce a lot of engineers who are building construction firms or something like that, But you give it to
elsewhere, certain contract values go to the small businesses. So there's equity, there's a spread of opportunity.
So I'm not really a fan of people who have built businesses with government connections. I'm not really a fan of that. No. I really think that they should build businesses and give government money to build projects. Then I am a fan of you. But if you're waiting for government to give you money to go and do something big, I really don't. I'm not a fan of that. Because I think that's where we are producing a lot of business people who likely are parasites on government. You know, so innovation is in deficit. I mean, is in deficit. Creativity and good examples for the youth to use their brain and hard work to become great. You don't have them. Why? Because we saw the other guy was just a government something, and he got a big contract. That's why he became big business person. You know, so why should I go through the process?
That is not true entrepreneurship.
But if you look around, a lot of our business people take government out and see. You see, take government out and see how much is their revenue in a year. If you take all government connections out. You know, so I think that's where then we don't become good examples for the youth, because then they see that why should I go through that? You are telling me to go and build a farm, but you got government grant to build that farm. I don't have any access to grant. Why are you encouraging me? You know? Because then we are saying something about we don't practice it, and I think that is where we have to listen to the youth. Just give them what is true. You want him to be honest, then give that example. You know, give that example. You want him to be hardworking. Give the same thing. Give everything. You know, and I don't think those things are being handled fairly at all. I don't think. You watch TV and you see all the same people. Somebody will get an award the other day, then the next day the company has collapsed. How come they got the award last year? And then this year the company has gone down. What happened?
There's a joke that some businessmen of various nationalities met and they're discussing their source of wealth. I said, mine from mining. Another person says mine is from farming. They got to my brother's own. He said that now God
Very good. You know, so you see, it's not able to tell us the steps. It's wrong. You know, so I think that we really have to explain.
So it's
no, they can't be explained. No, it can't be explained, and it's all over. It's all over. And it's not something that we should be proud of. So I think that, you know, so Melissa is saying in every economy, it is small businesses that, you know, that are the drivers. And it's true. And that's why we have to, so somebody I've completed university, I work at Makola. I should not be maltreated. Government agencies should not come and frustrate me. You know, I should be given a hand. And I don't have to call somebody for me to be treated fairly. And these things, they need to see them. And the onus is on all of us to change it.
Yeah.
So maybe. So I mean, I maybe one day I will look, but when I meet, I also call big men. I talk to them, I respect them, but I don't look for a lot of inspiration from them at all. I don't. Because I think that the path they are on, they might look back. Sometimes you see the display cars, display this. What are you telling to the youth? Somebody is 25 years, finished college, has no job. And you think that the source of the proof of you doing well is to tread car on TV? That's dangerous.
Those are mentalities that, well, with time, people will begin to realize that those things are not what makes you. To borrow Jesus, where it says that a man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses. But even the church is emphasizing on materialism, so it makes it difficult.
I think that we have. When I read the Bible, the church in the Bible are the ones that are in Africa. I think they are different things. So. I think what we have is business. To a large extent, is business. So I don't say much. Wow. So maybe you can start to wrap up. If you have other things that you want to share with us, you can tell us. You know, it's been fun having you around. I think there's more in you that you have to share with us. So we will look up to other things. We need that.
Yeah. So We can do it again.
Yes. Yes.
We can.
Yes. So if there are other thoughts that you want to add, there was you mentioned something that reading was the list of all the tools that you use to learn, and that there are other things that you need to keep them. So would you want to mention the other things that you think should be?
Okay. You know, we divide learning into two broad categories, passive and then active. Some methods are passive learning methods. Other methods are active learning methods. So I'll give some examples. I'll not be able to go through all the 12. So I'll just give some broad examples. I've already given the reading. Reading is a passive method. You know, we have the 5 main senses. Okay, the 5 classical senses, or 5 classical senses. The more you engage them, the more retention, or the more understanding, and then a better retention you get. So if you are reading, you are not engaging enough of the classic senses. Okay, now a person who is reading and writing at the same time is engaging more of the classic senses. So that person will have better understanding and retention. The person who watches a demonstration in addition to reading will have, or even a person who just watches a demonstration, practical demonstration of the thing being done, will have better understanding and retention than the person who just reads.
Even if it's a video?
Yes, even the video. But it stops when you yourself are demonstrating it.
Doing it. That's right.
Yes, doing it. And then there are aids like mnemonics, acronyms, and all that. So for instance, I want to remember series of things in a particular order. You can form an acronym or some mnemonics with it. And it can be anything weird as long as it is memorable. So we remember, let's say, the colors of the rainbow in the logical order. If you have to remember it, it's easier when you take, for instance, the first letters of each of the colors and you form a word with it. And typically we say roig beef. So if you want to remember the color of the rainbow in the right order, you just remember roig beef. They know that R is for red, O is for orange, Y is for yellow, green is for blue, in that order. So at any point in time, you can reproduce the colors of the rainbow in that logical order. So some of these methods all come in to make learning active rather than passive. Okay. So I treat it extensively in Brainy Acts for Learners. So as introductory, I would say these to help people appreciate some of the elements that come in when one is learning. Okay. And then also, people must understand that we don't learn for the purpose of exams. No. And if even it's for the purpose of exam, then life itself is the biggest exam and the most critical. So anything we learn, we must find the practical application of it in real life beyond just writing exams. That helps in appreciation, that helps in retention, and eventually it makes you more relevant on the field. And I've come to realize that a lot of the things we are made to learn, even though immediately the way it's presented doesn't find real practical application, if we care to make the effort, we'll find a practical application eventually. I'll give an example. Form Form 2, Form 3, we did accounting, basic bookkeeping, double entry, and all those things. Personally, I used that right from that time to keep records. So I had books of accounting, had journals, I had all that, where I was keeping my income and expenditure as a student. I have done that to date. Nobody asked me to do it. But once we were taught accounting, you credit here, you debit there, I started doing it for myself. You will find accountants who probably don't keep personal accounts. It's because they just learned it for the purpose of working. But learning is not like that. We learn so that we can apply. So teachers may need to take their time to help their students to appreciate the practical application of some of this. If they don't, the students must make the effort. You realize I keep coming back to the responsibility of the learner. That is very, very, very important. That a lot of effort, even if others are not doing it, you are doing it for your own self. So make the effort. So maybe for the sake of time, I'll just halt here, and maybe later we can take the series and I'll speak to them in detail, one from the other. Because
so now I don't know who you are, whether now I don't know who you are, whether you're an architect, you're an author, you're a designer, you're a teacher, I don't know.
That's myself as an architect, a designer, and the like. As for the life, if you give it to me 24/7, I'll do it. Even if you don't pay me, I'll do it.
Wow. Melissa, I have to say this. Remember 5 great lakes in North America, they created the acronym HOMES. So I think there are some 5 great rivers in North America. As we said, she's just saying that support what you just said on Rainbow.
Okay.
And so there are, where practical, that's where fundamentals meet practicals, best way of learning. Okay, so so I want to say thank you very much. Hello, Dave. Hello. I think David is having some network issue, or maybe it's my place. I don't know. But I want to say thank you very much for taking your time to watch this. Our passion is to see that the African youth will close the. We should see that the responsibility is on them, and that they have to up their game. Okay, so here, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. Okay. Wow. So our desire is to make sure that, and then if you have connections, if you don't have connections, just as you said, the learning is the onus is on the learner. The duty is on the learner, and we have to just take responsibility and read a lot and study and stretch our minds. This is somebody who did architecture, and he's been able to build his own firm. Out of that, he's written 14 books. is in a lot of organizations helping people, and I think that is his rare passion, that he helps a lot of people. And I think we can reverse some of the situations like what is happening in Nigeria if our leaders take serious interest in the youth and what they have to become. We don't have to wait for anybody to come. They have so much problems to deal with that we have to go to their level and to talk to them as much as we can. Even if you talk to 1,000 people and one listens, it's better than not making a move at all. So be open, be accessible. Don't put a lot of barriers so that those who need help cannot talk to you. I think we should all be available, because that's the way. If you don't do that, then they'll just think anything that they want to think of, and eventually all of us will suffer, because I'm not the youth. Why do you think that sometimes out of their frustration, they would want to go through the desert to get to Europe? It's the information that is available to them, what they think about. So if somebody is able to tell them or ask them questions or push them to rethink what they process, you never know what will happen because of that. So all of us have a lot to do to make sure that we help our youth, and that's what we are trying to do here. That a young person can do business because they visited the channel and learned one or two things and tried, and have confidence and believe that they can be successful wherever they are, and they are really equipped, and they are not inferior to any other person. This is why we do what we do, to share and to write books and to encourage our people. So I'm trying to wrap up. If David will come again, I'm not sure. So if he comes, then so today that's what we have tried to talk about. He's an architect. He had to spend 6 years in school. 6 years in school, and then after that you become a certified somebody. And all these things they do. So hello. All right. So if you're a youth in Ghana or in Nigeria, in any part of Africa or any part of the world, if you're Black, know that there's a lot that is at stake for our youth, and therefore, the school we have to add a lot to the school and what they are teaching them, and we really have to look at the religion again as to how much they are taking out of the people in terms of what they feed them with, especially information that they feed them. Because if the people don't know much, they can't do much. And that's a fact. And they've been able to tell a lot of them not to read anything apart from the Bible, apart from religious books. What can they do apart from those? They can't do much. So we have to tell them that there's more to life than just reading one book all your life and thinking that everything else is going to change. Things don't change like that. And so when you complete school, build your life, don't be so much frustrated. There's more. You have to be patient, and you have to believe that you can be successful here. And with hard work, with honesty, with perseverance, and with you going for a lot of knowledge, learning. There's no better time to learn than this. That you can go to any YouTube channel and learn anything that you can. You can go to any website and Google. You can reach almost everybody now. Get their number, contact them if you are asking for any information. So there's a lot that we all can. Hello, David.
These are technology traders.
Yeah. The guys are charging a lot of money on data, and yet they are doing a very bad job. Doing a very bad job. All right. So we wanted to wait for you to wrap up, so you can wrap up.
Oh, okay. So let's understand it this way. There's more to life than meets the eye. And school, society, government, religion, business, the 7 pillars of culture together make us. Unfortunately, together, they do a very bad job. So that brings the responsibility on us as individuals. And I'll repeat the point that all the knowledge, all the skills we need to be able to excel in life are known. And indeed, they have been documented. So it's up to us to make the effort to find that knowledge and then apply. So we can get them through programs like this, or discussions like this, or through self-help books and videos and audios. Of course, usually it finds itself on some paper first, and then eventually in an audio, and then or video. So we must make the effort as individuals, and in the least, we should follow the series I just briefly touched on. First, unearthing, understanding who you are as a human being, as a device. What is your brain capable of? How do you use it for efficiency? Two, we should understand the Trojans, the things that war against us without us knowing. We should understand the natural laws, learn and apply them. We should learn how to learn. We should learn to manage our time, our health, our emotions, people, wealth, and then emotions, which I'll say include happiness and all that. And then we must learn what true wealth creation, true entrepreneurship is about. There are 5 ways of making money. You should learn the pros and cons of each and then zero in on the best, which is entrepreneurship, but in its proper form. And with that, some of the things we should be majoring on is marketing, which will include sales. So how to sell. So selling is an aspect of marketing, but we should learn marketing in its broad context and then zero in on how to sell. With this, I believe even the sky will not be the limit for us. Amen.
Amen, Pastor. Thank you very much. So thank you. And so this is where we come. We come. All right. So we organize the offering and bring them. Okay. So then thank you very much.
You're welcome, Governor.
Okay.
Right then.